what's cool about now is so many people are skeptical because they've gone through like mountains and valleys of faith and hope and disappointment and expectation and exploration that you can't put baby in a corner after that, right? Like, when you go these different routes and climb these different mountains and experience these different valleys, you see the similarities and the differences, but really it's the similarities of the entire path, all the way around, that you'll most hone in on. It's like if somebody you knew was gonna go on a journey on a whim or something, you know, or planning out a journey even, I don't know, and they know that you've journeyed before in those areas, they would probably come to you and be like, hey, I'm planning on heading out into that area. Tips, tricks, what do you have to say? And you would then look back and be like, you can expect this, and this, but look out for that, right? Like, we will make note of the stuff that is off, and we'll keep it in a special place. But we also like to take note of the comfort or consistency that exists within the greater pattern of stuff. And that's how you see the patterns in everything. Like, so if you're making bad mistakes over and over and over again, you'll know exactly where they are. You don't need someone to tell you. Sometimes it's nice when someone tells you because it just reminds you. And then it reminds you also that you're not the only one who's seeing that, and you can't get away with everything because somebody is watching you. So even if you don't believe that you come from some greater thing that might be watching you, there are always people who have an eye on you on some level for some reason. It's crazy. Whether it's family members because they're concerned, your boss because you're late all the time, or that cashier at the grocery store who I guess has a crush on you and also wonders why your wallet is made out of tape. I don't know. Obviously, this weird attraction, people talk about the law of attraction, like obviously if this law of attraction or things that attract each other or a universal law of balance which just equilibrates things in ways that we have a hard time fathoming because we're so fucking superficial, we can't see how that could be occurring in the mundane world. If this stuff is indeed happening and we're having any sort of attraction to anything for any reason, it might be worth looking at on a deeper level because of these fucking contracts. Like, oh, but I just came into the world as a baby. Like, what are you talking about? Contracts? Like, well, if everything is a reflection of everything else, from the microcosm to the macrocosm, and we're living in a world where pretty much every time you turn the corner and want to do something, you're being asked to sign something which is legitimately, by all standard, a contract. Whether it's, I got a brand new computer and I want to use Microsoft, or you bought a new phone, or you're like going to this website and they say, we want to, store cookies on you or whatever. We contract on those levels every day pretty, I don't want to say we're unaware. It's like we're aware of it, but we're not conscious of the greater context of the small print, which is probably a greater reflection of how we went into contract to be here to begin with, is you forget the fine print, you know? It's like, oh man, yeah, I was gonna like go be a human, and I forgot that they were gonna wipe my mind. I don't know how that slipped by me, right? You sign a contract that you are contracted to forget. What? That just is a crazy twist in a fun game of life. And in that forgetting, it's like, oh, I'm also gonna forget why I did and did not like people that are also doing this experiment, and geez, why don't I like my whatever, you know, whoever. Like, pick a person in your life that you don't like, be like, then forget why you don't like them. Like, you don't have any reason really not to like them. You just come into the world and you're like, I know you're a fucking asshole and I want nothing to do with you. Really, it's because you forgot that you and this soul embodying a flesh suit have gone many a lifetime at each other's throats, also being best friends, changing sexes just by lifetime alone, incarnation, sleeping with each other's spouses, and just overall just, you know, maybe even being siblings or married at one point, like just running the gamut of all the experiences a human could have with another human. And then like it happens to be that the aftertaste of the last life is bitter and not so pleasant, and there's still stuff to be worked out, and so you gotta pick up where you left off, but you don't even remember where you left off, or that it happened to begin with at that other time and place. And so then you gotta run through the cycle until you realize, oh yeah, and then you're like, oh, the free will, maybe I should use it to do something different this time. And then shoot back down into yourself and try and change history, all in all. Ultimately, attempting to time travel through the soul, or the spirit, or the mind, or just the fact that time actually isn't linear. Right, okay, sorry for all the mouth noises. It's just, all of this stuff can leave you so speechless. No, well, yeah, but it's hard to articulate. It's just exasperating. And every day I get to see a new level of what the fuck this is, and I'm just shaking my head because why aren't we having more conversations about this stuff? It's extraordinary. It's obvious. I felt like it was obvious for a long time, but now it's just getting even more obvious. So I kind of feel like maybe we should stop beating around the bush and just like really dig in. I can't help but laugh because ultimately here's my theory or philosophy or opinion right now.